a $300,000 loan. You can say about $14,400 over 5 years, paying a discounted rate of say 4.94. Now, here's the other thing on that point is that what I'm trying to source now is to make sure that we use lenders when we open up equity that have lifetime discounts. So ask about lifetime discounts. So, open up your equity, grow your wealth. That's what everyone wants to do. So, when you're approaching your lender or your mortgage broker to open up equity, you'll always need to have a separate loan to do that. Anybody want to have a guess why? You really want to keep your current home loan, which you can't deduct any interest on your current home loan. But the equity you open up, which is probably more than likely a line of credit, you want that in a separate loan or a split loan, so it's completely separate. So when your accountant sees the statements, okay, that one's not deductible, this one is. Line of credit is a very effective way or a very effective product used for drawing equity out. Okay, I really do like that product. Redraw facilities, a lot of people say, oh, but I've got a redraw facility on my home loan. Well, good luck with that, because you just draw your home loan up. It's very hard for the accountants and the tax department to see what you've used for investment. So a redraw facility on your home loan just doesn't allow you to keep that non-deductible and deductible expense free. So, yeah, big message out of that, keep them separate. And if you do go, the biggest complaint I hear, and most people that end up in my office, is that they've gone down to their local branch and that's all they'll do. They actually get back into, oh, don't worry, we'll just top your home loan up. You just redraw that out. And that's, it just doesn't work for a lot of people. And then, of course, they usually find out at tax time, which is way too late after they've done that. So if you take anything away from this, it's keep it separate. So did you know that $150,000 worth of equity could purchase 3 houses with a purchase price of $400K? So, one house, 10% deposit, $40,000. Obviously times that by 3 is 120. You have some stamp duty and some costs, say about $8,000. So you've actually got some change out of your 150K. So it is very easy to get the deposits together for, say, 3 properties. Your only limiting factor is the ability to service. However, every time you buy a property, the bank allows you to add the rent in for the new property and the existing property. So I usually find with a lot of investors, their serviceability actually improves as they buy more property. What becomes a huge problem for them is they run out of deposits. So they actually start getting good at buying houses, having them structured in a way that is producing income and working well for them. So yeah, so it's just an important thing to look at, is that you can actually put your rent in each time you buy a property. Just on this point too, sorry, I'll just go back to this here. The point about investors running out of deposit, we've got a little solution for you just a little bit later in the presentation too. But I'm just going to cover some of the things we actually do to help you. Now, there's a way of being completely debt-free in less than 8 years, and I've done it time and time again with my people. We set up debt elimination plans for them. Now, it could well be that I've got a client that comes in the office and borrowing just doesn't make sense for that client. So we need to do something about well, we need to do something about their debt and the amount of debt that they're in. So I've got a case study just coming up now where even if you're drowning in debt and you've got, you're drowning and you're laden down with car loans, credit cards, home loans, everything, that can all be gone in 8 years. And it's not a magic wand that actually gets rid of it. So I've got a lovely lady who lives in Dubbo. Her name's Virginia. She's a little Aboriginal lady, heart of gold. Now, I've had a long association with Virginia. I've done her home loans and things like that. Virginia was 59 years old, and she's got a heart of gold, as I mentioned. She has foster children that she takes care of, usually little Aboriginal children with lots of problems and things like that. Virginia just takes these kids in. She works. She's a crazy lady, but she does a lot of amazing things. So when I started looking at her stuff, I started to look at her income, and I'm thinking, gosh, she's telling me that she's drowning in debt, and I'm looking at her income. Her actual income was nearly $115,000 a year. And she goes to me, she goes, "Oh, Felicity, no, that's not true." I said, I don't know. I mean, I added it up. Is there a mistake somewhere? "Oh, no," but she said, "Isn't that great?" So now she had a total debt of $293,950. Now, most people would probably say, "Wow, I'd love to be in that position." Well, she was just drowning in debt at that time, and she said to me, she said, "I'm 59. She said, "I can't keep going." She said, "What am I going to do?" Because that's what her debt looked like. And she came to me, and her solution was to refinance everything and put it into one loan. So does that sound like a good idea? Anybody? Yeah. Wrap it all up, put it into one loan? Yeah. Well, it's in this situation, it's just, well, first of all, there's no lender that's going to wrap up, 9 other debts into the home loan. That was our first problem. She's 59 years old. Gosh, the lender doesn't even accept foster income into the servicing calculator. So this poor lady, she just didn't know what to do. There was a little underlying problem we had to sort out, and when I sort of talked to her, I said, "Virginia, this money, where does it all go?" And she said, now she's the matriarch of a big, long, extended Aboriginal family, and these kids in her family, they hit her up for money all the time. I said, "Virginia, you just have to say no. You can't just keep giving them money." And she goes, "Oh, I'm trying to help everybody out." I said, "You're going to be dead by the time you help everybody out." And I said, "You're going to be good to no one." So she went away with that thought, and we didn't do anything for a little while. And next thing you know, I get this phone call from her. "Felicity, it's Mayo." She calls herself Mayo. "G'day, Mayo, how are you?" "Hi, mate, I've got a little problem with my ticker, and I've just been thinking about that debt elimination plan." She said, "I really want to do it." She said, "I love the idea that I can get rid of it." You weren't kidding me when you said you can get rid of it in about 8 years. I said, no, that we can do that. "Okay, well," she said, "I want to get started right now." And I said, "Oh, okay, that's great. So just back up for a minute. You said you had a problem with your ticker." Yeah. "I've had a heart attack. I'm in hospital." And she said, "Through the grace of God," she said, "I've survived." And she said, "All I can think about is your debt elimination plan." Okay, God love her. So we got started. So basically what we required was $4,227 a month. She was already committed to $3,077 a month. All we needed was $250 extra a month to make all of this go away. So the payoff, the house, the cars, the credit cards, we did it all in, or we will do it all in 7 years and 9 months. So basically how we did it was we collated all the debts and the minimum repayments. I'm just going to flick back to the earlier screen here just to see there. So you'll notice that I put a payoff priority. So number one there was Rent Smart. It was that was the number one debt to get rid of first. So what we did was we paid all minimum payments on every other debt, and the extra debt elimination money went on Rent Smart. We got rid of Rent Smart, and then we went to GE Credit Line. And we put all the Rent Smart money, the debt elimination money, and the minimum payment for GE Credit Line, and got rid of that. And so on and so forth. She's now got just the home loan and the car loan and the ANZ credit card. Yeah, so she's done incredibly well with it. Amazing lady, and she's just so dedicated to it. So a couple of meetings ago, I said to her, how did the family take not being giving any money? Oh, she said, that was easy. She said, I just told them that I gave it all to you. So she's thrilled, because even if she, decides to retire at 64 instead of 65 or whatever, and she's got a small debt left on a home loan, it's still way less than what if she was renting. So this one here is for the more advanced investors, or those that are just starting to run out of deposit. So you remember in the earlier slide there, we showed you how to open up and buy 3 houses. Well, that's all fine and dandy when you've figured out how to buy those properties and you really want to buy more. How do you do it? And how do you get 100% of the purchase price? Now, there's what I call a second mortgage carryback, where the vendor actually carries a second mortgage. But it's also called some now, some later. I think Tony Cordato gave it that term. So, no deposit, no worries. Now, how do we do it? You approach the bank for an 80% lend, and probably before you approach the bank for the 80% lend, you speak to the vendor of the property. Now, a lot of vendors are quite motivated to sell their property, and they want to get a certain price for it. But you'll usually find these properties have been on the market for a while, and they haven't been able to sell at the price they want to achieve. But if you were to offer them some now, which is the 80% that you can get from the bank, and you say to them, well, look, are you good to carry me for the 20%? Can we work out some terms where I can pay you back the 20% bit? Now, the great thing is a lot of vendors will often do it without even charging interest. So it's a really neat way to get your 20% in there. Now, not every lender likes this strategy. So if you want it down in your Commonwealth Bank or your ANZ or whatever, they'll show you the door real quick, because they don't do that. However, the non-conforming lenders do. So we've got a handful of non-conforming lenders that actually know this strategy quite well, and as long as the investor can service the 80% bit and the 20% bit and all their existing commitments, they don't have a problem with it. All you've got to do is get the vendor to agree to pay you back the 20% over time. So that's just a bit of a rundown on that strategy. Now, I know Paul Dobson, he's very proficient in this type of strategy. Sean, go to Sean's events, Sean talks about this type of thing as well. So just know that your traditional lenders, not all are on side, but some are. You've just got to know which ones to do, but you simply engage your professional mortgage broker, like moi, and you do that. That wraps me up. By the way, please like me on Facebook. And you can contact me at loans@propertyloanadvisor.com.au. Thank you.